This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the president of GSP Resource, Mr. Simon Dyakowski. Simon, how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thank you, Gerardo, for having me on the show today.
Well, listen, clearly we're coming to the end of 2025. It's been a heck of a year in the metal space. Unlike a lot of companies, you still got some, material news that you're delivering to the market. You had some this morning. Thank you for taking the call and jumping on such short notice. Tell me about this analysis and why it's showing the potential for new porphyry sources, which of course is what you're hoping to vector in towards and drill here in 2026.
Yeah, so this news was a little technical, I'll admit, but it's very significant for the upside potential of the now combined Alwyn Myrrh properties in the Highland Valley copper camp of South Central BC. So we are surrounded, our two properties, the Alwyn mine and the Myrrh properties, are surrounded by Teck Highland Valley Copper's operation. These are 5 historic and currently operating open pit deposits. They all lie to our east. We're right on the edge of this big, giant mining complex. But what we have is, to date, proven up a smaller than what they have open pit high grade opportunity. But it's always been speculated that the mineralization that resides on our properties could be related to a porphyry system. Now, obviously, it is given where it's located, but which porphyry system is it related to? Is it one of Teck's, or is it a brand new one that's potentially on our ground? So this is the question that we want to answer. And, potentially, if it's a positive answer, it'd be very rewarding for our shareholders. So we've been systematically exploring our properties over the past few months. And just recently, we received the final analysis from the hyperspectral analysis that we did on some of our rock samples. Now, this is a little technical, so I won't, bore the listeners with an explanation of what it is scientifically, but essentially it is shortwave infrared spectrometry that identifies where you're at in the porphyry system, if you're distal, far away, or proximal, close. And so the Alwyn had always been considered to be distal, i.e., a couple kilometers away from the main source to our east, which is the Highland Valley Pit. But our new information from the SWIR TerraSpec analysis, the hyperspectral analysis, indicates that we're actually closer to a porphyry than had been previously thought on not only the Alwyn property, but also on the Myrrh. So that's why we call it the combined Alwyn Myrrh. This data shows us that there's a presence of higher temperature signatures, which is what you associate with a closer porphyry system. So this is huge for our upcoming drilling. We're just getting permitted right now to drill on the Myrrh property, and we have a permit already for the Alwyn. We expect to have the ultimate permit for both properties in hand in the first quarter of 2026. So we wanted to get this news out to show the market that, hey, not only do we have fantastic, high-grade copper, silver, gold opportunities on the property, which we've spoken about over the past couple of months, but now we have this potential for a more proximal or a closer porphyry system on both the Myrrh and the Alwyn. And since they're so close to each other, possibly both of them are related to a new system. So we have 3 high priority targets now to drill for the porphyry, in addition to the high grade copper, silver, gold, which we spoke about in October, November, where we were encountering new zones of over 10 ounce or over 300 gram silver, for example, and over 10% copper at surface.
Well, listen, it's important work. I know it's technical in nature, and I know for the non-geos and the non-techs amongst us, it's going to seem like, okay, it's a nice news release with a lot of jargon, but I can't emphasize enough how important it is to do this kind of vetting of the targets before you actually spend shareholder capital into the ground, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, this is a newer technology, but it's really becoming widely adopted in the industry for identifying new sources of porphyry mineralization. I know that geologists at some of the majors put a lot of stock into this kind of information, And although you don't hear about it spoken about too often like this in these press, call it jargony press releases, it's very important, especially when you're trying to understand an asset that has been around for 50, 60 years, 70 years actually in the case of the Alwyn mine, that was previously thought to be one thing, only high grade copper, but we think the environment that it's in justified this exploration over the summer and fall that identified that, hey, it's potentially something a lot bigger. And I think that's the opportunity for our shareholders, is to continue to investigate, how much bigger is this? And we're, as of drafting of this news release, we are internally very optimistic, and now I think a little bit more willing to risk our shareholders' capital, which is a lot of our own capital, on drilling these deeper porphyry style targets in addition to our existing high grade targets. So it's really coming together for us, and I think 2026 is going to be a big year. And just note that things should heat up in BC in 2026. We have a big merger that was approved by the Canadian government yesterday between Anglo American and Teck Resources. And a big condition of that merger is Anglo Teck being required to spend over $2 billion at the Highland Valley Copper Mine. So, this is really bolstering this camp as a premier area for exploration and discovery in the mining friendliest portion of British Columbia, which is south central BC. Which is sort of away from the more environmentally sensitive areas to the northwest. It's a little bit topographically less challenging. It's it's literally called the Highland Valley. It's a flat, high valley with not a lot of snow, and it's pretty easy to operate there. So we are really looking to get the story out far and wide that, hey, have a look at GSP for porphyry copper opportunities on our two properties that are entirely surrounded by operating mines.
Yeah, look, I think 2026 is going to be a transformational year for the company. I said it last time. I'll say it again. I'll sound like a broken record, but it's buy low, sell high, folks. And so if you want the low side of the equation, it doesn't get much more compelling, and definitely GSP is worth a look. Anything to add to that, Simon?
I'll just add this. I think 2025 was a foundational year, and I think 26 will be transformational. So I'll leave it at that, and I wish everybody a Merry Christmas coming up, and thank you for having me on short notice here, Gerardo.
Same your way, Simon. Thank you for your time. Looking forward to getting you back on here soon. Have a great one out there.
Cheers. Thanks. Bye.
Cheers. Hey everybody, Gerardo Del Real here. If you're enjoying the content that you just saw, you can let us know in 3 simple steps. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and please share across your network and on social media. Take care, everybody.